One, two, three. Let's see where the streaming be. Hey everybody, if you're watching this not live, which is anybody watching this right now, thank you for joining the stream. Yeah, just gonna be doing a chill little stream, just doing some art, getting some painting done, testing out the new microphone, the Michael phone, as we like to call it, and seeing how this sounds. So, yeah, let's get right down to it. This is a little bit of Seth release from World of Warcraft. But, you know, we don't need to worry about that for the time being. After all, could just be an unlicensed, unbranded snake person. That is entirely possible. In the realm of possibility, in fact. Yes, indeed. All right. Now let's see. I don't even remember how to access the chat, which is always fun. Okay. What up? Oh my goodness, is that Galactus himself? Hey, good to see you. How have you been? What are you up to? Working on any cool animations at the moment? You know, I know you do stop motion work. I feel like you would love working with Bionicles. Because, like, back in the day, those Bionicle stop motions, those were the coolest thing ever. They're pretty neat. Pretty cool stuff. Oh, by the way, I need to link this in my Discord, my personal Discord. That would be a good idea. Let's see. Been sick lately, but animating a bit. Oh no, that's a shame. Yeah, there's definitely been some kind of affliction going around. Quite a pity, quite a shame. But you know what? What can you do? Stream updates. Hey ho. Doing a bit of painting and running a test stream. Feel free to pop in. Yeah, colds are... I mean, any kind of sickness is pretty unfortunate. They're always... I don't know. Seems like a real design flaw, if you ask me. It is not fun. Hello there. How's it going? Pub 2014. What am I drawing? Just a snake person. A snurson, if you will. This is a little bit of freelance work I'm doing at the moment. Just job to keep the wolves at bay. That said, the secret reason the stream is happening is because I have a new microphone, and I want to test it out to see how it sounds. I'm kind of like troubleshooting the audio a little bit. So if I sound too quiet or too loud or plosivy, let me know. Speaking of which, plosives are when you hear the Peter Piper pecked of pickled pickle peppers. So we're trying to avoid that. What is this style of drawing? What a good question. It is the style in which I draw. Yeah, basically, I have a kind of weird method where I like to just paint, and that's the way I do it. So I start off with kind of like a basic sketchy thing where it's just like kind of a solid flat color, and you know, it's we start off there. Then you add some detail. You can see I kind of just went in with this nice little oval brush that I have. I made this one myself. It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. Which is the thing people say, I guess. But yeah, and then you add some more detail and rendering, and then you just keep doing that, and you keep going from there. And I have a little adjustment layer. This is a hard light layer to about 80%. I should probably knock it down to like 60% or so. That would be smart. That'd be a good idea, generally speaking. But yeah, just gonna be doing some doodling tonight, testing out streaming again. It's been a while. I really should do it more. I just cannot find the time to stream, which is always the difficulty, isn't it? The characters remind me of LOL or WoW. Well, 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 that is probably because it comes from WoW, this character. I didn't know you were a WoW player, by the way, or are you familiar with WoW in any kind of incidental sense? News to me. Indeed, indeed. I'm meeting with a casting director for World of Warcraft who does all of the voiceover casting, all of the voice acting casting, and all of the voice acting direction for all of Blizzard. So you think Overwatch, Hearthstone, StarCraft, Diablo, all of it. And I need to submit an audition, a voiceover audition, pretty soon. But I've kind of been procrastinating because, you know, perfectionism is a really great way to to prevent you from getting things done. You know, I want to make sure it's really good because I want to impress her. But, you know, obviously I gotta lock in and fortify. Used to play? Whoa, that's sick. What kind of character did you play in WoW? What was your poison of choice? By the way, I need to make sure this stream is happening properly. Because if it's not, then we're gonna have a problem. Is it showing up? Yes, indeed. Cool. Awesome possum. Yeah, I used to have a big WoW problem. I used to be a little bit addicted to the game. Just a little bit. And now I'm only slightly addicted. I don't remember his name, but he throws barrels. Ah, that sounds like a brewmaster monk. Did they do like kung fu and, you know, like palm jabs and all that? It's funny because when you said I played a character that throws barrels, I immediately thought of Donkey Kong. I was like, are you sure you played WoW and not Mario or a Nintendo game? But yeah, brewmaster monks, they throw kegs of beer at people and get them drunk. Based on the Jackie Chan movie Drunken Master, which is a monk technique that is also found in D&D, the more you know. Consider yourself edumacated. So I take it you played around the Pandaria era then, or at least post Pandaria, because that would be around the time monks were a thing. But yeah, this is a snake person from Battle for Azeroth, and I have a friend, an associate of mine, a colleague, who is really, really into snake people. And they're clamoring for snake people to become playable in Warcraft. And I think the mindset is that if we simply get enough snake people artworks into the world, then Blizzard will make the executive choice to have no choice but to add snake people. So that's what's happening right now. We're drawing the snake person. It is good that the drawing immediately reminded you of WoW, though, or League of Legends, because that's kind of the vibe we're going for. Am I drawing on the wrong layer? Yes, I am. I am stupid as hell. Okay, let's fix that. Wrong layer, Kronk. The bane of any digital artist. Pray that you should never face such indignities. Positively travestic. Okay. Bit of rim light. Sort of define the forms. We love it. At the Moon Colony, the place in which I work, we love a good rim light. That nice white rim light on the corner of a character makes him really pop against the background. You see that? Classic. Of course, you do have to be mindful of lighting direction. That is mucho importante. Very important. By the way, I assume I am speaking to my favorite guitarist, Pablo. Because your name is The Pab 2014. I hope I'm speaking to the right person, otherwise I will feel very embarrassed. Okay. Ooh, that looks bad. Yeah, this entire layer is useless. Let's just trash it. Okay. And now we need to add a little bit of gold. It's my gamer name. Ooh, gamer. Why the 2014? What does that mean? Is that the name you made the account? Or the year you made the account? Whenever I see a gamer tag that has like a year in it that's a recent year, I always think, oh, that was probably just the year in which they were born. I don't think you were born in 2014, unless I'm very mistaken. But you know the feeling? You see someone's gamer tag and it's like, Dennis! Dennis 1996. And it's like, okay, yeah, that's your date of birth, that's your DOB, we get it. I had an old gamer tag by the name of Mystica 2489, and it's a very specific combination of numerals. And the reason behind it is that I was really into Bionicle at the time, and there was a set of Bionicles called the Mystica, okay? And there was one set where the code for that set was 2489. And I was like, all right. So I'm making my Club Penguin username. Or my Platform Racing 3 username. And I need something I like. Because people are going to see the Bionicle reference and immediately know that I'm cool. So I made it Mystica 2489. And then, the rest is history. That was how things went from then on. 'Twas a wonderful time, a wonderful occasion. Yeah. That's my origin story, my villain origin story. And then I conquered the world. Just don't dox yourself. That's very important, not doxing yourself. You got to be careful. I think people nowadays, the kids these days, are way too inclined to dox themselves on the interwebs. Like, they go on the TikToks and they post their full name and where they live, and I just find it inconceivable that, internet safety has gone out the window. Back in my day, people, we had a notion of stranger danger. We knew not to reveal information about ourselves, and nowadays, oh my goodness, how things have fallen into disrepair. Personally, though, I find it is a good general rule not to share too much information on the internet. You never know who might be listening or for what nefarious purposes they might be using your information for. So you gotta be careful. Maintain a clean digital footprint. That's what I always say. was recently speaking to a colleague of mine, an associate, who doesn't reveal their name, their voice, their face, anything on the internet. In the videos of Mr. Beast, there are a lot of people saying their location where they live. Yeah, well, I mean, you know, people who end up on like game shows on YouTube probably aren't the highest common denominator of IQ around. That's as a general speculation. And probably it goes doubly for people who end up on game shows like Mr. Beast. But that's just a theory. A game theory! Now, MatPat in game theory, perfectly acceptable to dox yourself. Entirely allowed. Good old MatPat. Matthew Patthew is what his real name is, actually. I just doxed MatPat. What's he gonna do about it? Write a theory about me? A likely story. Good old Matthew Patthew. He's fun. I joined a lot of those old YouTubers. Oh my goodness, this looks silly. Yep. Too silly for me. Actually, that's kind of neat. This could work. This could be fun. You know, if I do find the time, one thing I want to draw is some album cover, or like an album cover for the secret album 2 of the band Flying Crows. I think that'd be fun. I need to get a bit of a spare moment. Hearing your voice doing homework helps you relax. That's good to hear. I have a lot. You can like I got some long form stuff on the channel. Like I got like interviews, you know, with writers, and you can just listen to those like podcast. So, you know, I got content to help people relax. I've interviewed some really cool people. I interviewed Greg Farshtey, the lead writer of Lego for 20 years. He worked on Bionicle and like Ninjago, Hero Factory. Yeah, Greg is just such a cool person. Yeah, I want to do more interviews. I have one possibly with Joe Cat, if you're familiar with him. Speaking of doxing, my goodness, that poor guy got doxed real bad. But he's back. He makes D&D content. He's really cool. He's one of my favorite people on the YouTube, and I am thrilled that he will possibly find the time to join me for an hour or so, and we can have a lovely conversation. You watched that one? Heck yeah. What a bona fide fan, I see. I don't know him. That's a shame. Yeah. He's definitely big in like the nerdy D&D space, if that's your fancy. And I am nothing if not a big nerd. Nerd is my middle name. Mist Nerd 2489. That is what they call me. Alright. I need to like make a bunch of these crystal things, and I don't know how I want to do it. Because the character is surrounded by crystals, I guess. Uploading gameplays to my channel. What kind of games? What kind of games do you play, my friend? Are they good games or bad games? That is the question. I have a bit of Elden Ring gameplay on my channel, because Elden Ring is a game that I play. But the problem is that I didn't have the audio set up, so just is me silently playing the game. with no audio whatsoever. Very sad, very tragic. Alright. Merge down. Alright. Uploading gameplays to the channel, what a lovely idea. Yeah, I've been meaning to do some more YouTube content, more Twitch content. I mean, I do some of it for work, because work wants me to do streams and whatnot. But aside from that, I've been neglecting my personal channels quite extensively, and I need to fix that. I do. I have an addiction to Plants vs. Zombies Heroes. What? That's crazy. Plants. Is that a new game or old game? Ah, 2016. Yeah, I think I remember this. Wait, do I remember this? I remember there was like a... Oh yeah, Garden Warfare. That was like the FPS one, right? Plants vs. Zombies. That was a fun concept indeed. My goodness. Where is the time gone? But yeah, I liked Plants vs. Zombies back in the day. That was a good game. A card game? Whoa. That is shockingly in character for Plants vs. Zombies. I can definitely see that being a thing. Yes, indeed. Very fascinating. Have you heard of the Cyberpunk TCG? It's a very recent one, but it's a physical trading card game for the Cyberpunk universe. And the company I work for made some cards for that. And then that card game, made $27 million on Kickstarter. So I think it's like the most funded Kickstarter game of all time at this point, which is extremely exciting. I don't think I get a cut of that money, but you know, in spirit, in spirit. Complaints about all the bugs. Complaints about bugs, you say? What a scintillating concept. Fascinating. Also, if I kind of morph into British from time to time, don't mind me. I'm just I have to send an audition tonight, and I'm practicing my mid-Atlantic accent. It's a mix of American and British. It's also like really easy to do. I think you know, that's kind of the issue if you learn a British dialect, is that you'll find yourself just slipping into it for no reason whatsoever. So you got to be careful. It's addictive. The Britishisms are addictive. I remember when I was younger, I'd be playing Minecraft, and I would listen to the Yogscast, which were like these British YouTubers. You know, they did like Diggy Diggy Hole and all that. And I would start to like mimic some of their dialogue inflections. Like they would say whilst instead of while, right? I was like, whilst, that makes more sense than while. So people in Minecraft would just assume I was British simply because of the way I spoke. Go figure. Then again, people assume I'm British even now if they're not like native English speakers and they're from like Europe. They'll go, bottle of water? Yeah, bottle of water, that's right. Or fancy a cuppa, mate? Oh, no worries. And it's funny too, because I work for a company in the UK. And so I hear British accents all day, even though a lot of my coworkers are actually Scottish. I am not brave enough to even attempt a Scottish accent. Oh, donkey! That's about as far as I can go. And as you might imagine, that's not very indicative of what they're actually like. After all, it's Mike Myers from Shrek. And Mike Myers, very funny comedian, not actually Scottish. The more you know. Okay. Duplicate layer. Now we just need to duplicate again. Okay, I need to look at my reference. There are 7 crystals on this character. You might even call it the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I'm currently watching The Voice, and one of the characters has a quote-unquote British accent, and sometimes I can't understand him. What is The Voice? What is that? Is that like a game show of some kind? Merge layers. The Boys. Oh, Billy Butcher. That's right. Well, it's funny because Carl Urban, the who is Billy Butcher, he's actually a New Zealander. He's from New Zealand, so yeah, they kind of got like the Kiwi accent, mate. You know, they're kind of clipped. You know, if you know like Taika Waititi, kind of from Thor Ragnarok, you know, Korg and all that. You know, that kind of accent. But Carl Urban, he's doing a British accent, and he's doing like this kind of Cockney accent, you know, scorched earth, right? And it's kind of like you can't really understand him because he kind of he rounds out. It's almost a bit Australian the way he does it. See, does it, right? That's how you say it. Accents are fun. I like doing accents. I'm trying to learn. I want to learn a good Russian accent, a good Spanish accent, because those are like the popular ones for voice acting nowadays. I got a pretty good British one. I need to learn. What else do I need? I don't know. What kind of accents do you hear in games a lot? That's the question. Because those tend to be the most valuable ones you can have in your arsenal if you're doing voice acting for a living. A Chilean speaking Spanish. Ooh. I remember Gus Fring from Breaking Bad is meant to be Chilean, but everyone just makes fun of his accent because apparently it's very inaccurate, or so I keep hearing. What does Gus Fring sound like? There's a great scene in Better Call Saul where he's talking to Lalo Salamanca. And it's funny because like Lalo has, I think people agree he has like the best accent. Oops. In like the Breaking Bad universe, that like authentically Mexican, you know. And like he's talking to Gus Fring, and he's like, he hears this accent in Spanish, and he just starts speaking English because it's so bad. I don't know if they wrote that intentionally into the script, but that's how a lot of people kind of interpreted it. Giancarlo appears in The Boys. Yes, he does. Stan Edgar. Oh man, yeah, Giancarlo's amazing. He was in like he's been in a lot of stuff lately. He was in Mandalorian. Yeah, he's getting that bag, and you know what? Good for him. He's a very sweet person and a hard worker. So I'm glad he's getting the recognition that he needs. Apparently, like at one point, he was so like broke and you know like trying to feed his kids. He was like, maybe I should die and collect life insurance money to feed them. And it's like, damn, that's drastic measures in a game. Far Cry. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, Far Cry 6. There's there's a great musician, Miracle of Sound, and he did like a song based on I think Far Cry 6. And I always think of that whenever I think of Far Cry. like another day in paradise. It's funny because I think he actually learned Spanish just to do that song, which is really cool. Okay, merge down. All right. Okay, mate. Yeah. Now we're cooking with gas, mate. All right. Alrighty, righty, right. These crystals are going to be the death of me, honestly. Now I can merge down. Okay, it's all in one layer at least. Now I can kind of mess with them. It's not going to be too annoying. A screen layer might be good for them. Can add a bit of airbrush. Can cool if you want to be easier than just typing. Possibly. If you want a cameo on my stream, although that might be hard, because then I don't know if they would be able to hear you. They just hear me talking to myself. That's it, though. I need to get ready for that voiceover audition, and probably record a few takes tonight. Though actually, do I need to? Yeah, I should probably do that tonight. I need to do a vampire character. And it's funny because when I think of vampires, I always think of like What We Do in the Shadows and Matt Berry. And he's like, New York City! And I'm trying to get that in my head. Because the vampire character that I'm doing audition for is more of like a... And I'm allowed to share this, by the way, because it's like old script. But the vampire character is more of like a... like a David Bowie. David Bowie, like the Goblin King, or maybe a bit of Hannibal Lecter. Seductive, commanding, manipulative, charming. And it can be a slight Romanian accent. Da, yes, a Romanian accent. Sort of Transylvania, yes? Or maybe a slight British accent as well. Exotic but subtle. So I'm going to have to like listen back to the VOD of this stream and be like, alright, Mist, what voices don't suck? How do we make this not bad? That is my question. And then hopefully I get a job and I get paid and I get to, you know, not starve to death. That would be splendid and spectacular. Don't want to end up like poor Giancarlo, that's for sure. I do love me some money. Navia copy. Okay. Erase, transform, underneath. Huh. Huh. Okay, I'm kind of not sure what to do with this. Maybe if I erase part of it, erase part of it. That could work. That's a possibility. That's a maybe. Put that in the maybe pile. How am I doing with HW? I don't even want to talk about that right now. Yes, indeed, villager spotted. There was this old cha-cha-cha animation channel called Element Animation. They did animated series called Egg's Guide to Minecraft and a bunch of stuff. And then they had like this big crazy series that got popular called Villager News. And the villagers all sounded like this. It's quite funny. I'm tired, man. Yeah. Yeah. I'm tired, boss. What class are you taking? Or what kind of class is it? If you don't want to be specific, you don't have to. Don't have to do anything you don't feel like, that's for sure. Okay, merge down. What is quite a pity is that it doesn't seem like... Oh dear. Okay, merge down. University studies class. Is that like a specific... Like, do you get to choose what you're studying, or is it... Is it like a whole thing where it's... they choose what you study? Okay. You select the class you want to take. Interesting. That's fun. Did you choose like a certain theme for yourself, or like something that is kind of in your interests? I guess I'm just asking what you decided to go with. Because I'd imagine there's many options out there. Some better than others. Gotta be on that rate my professor, you know? looking for information. What a funny concept though, that you can like look up essentially Yelp reviews of educators. I mean, it's a good system. I think it's very valuable for people. Communication, that's cool. Yeah, communication's one of those things. It's always muy importante. What are like the biggest things you've learned from communication class? Need to develop that characteristic. You know, there's a wonderful book that I might introduce you to. It's called How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Highly recommend it. Quite a good one. Although I will say, if you want spoilers for that book, the entire thing basically boils down to be kind to people and be a nice person. So it might not be helpful because you're already a nice person. I think that book is largely for sociopathic business majors who don't know how to talk like human beings. Which, you know what, no shade towards those people. Because if you think about it, I don't know how to talk like a human being. You have to record a weekly video and you're feeling more confident. Hell yeah, man. That's awesome. I wish I had a reason to make weekly videos. I'd probably be more consistent about posting on YouTube if that were the case. I'm currently learning about the many people's different roles within group communication. That's neat. Like different, like the leader and. Actually, I have no idea what you're talking about. do communicate. Do tell me. All right. How deep are we? The self-confessor, the insecure compliment seeker, the joker, withdrawer, etc. Ooh, that's fun. Lots of different categories to encapsulate the entirety of the human experience. All right, I see how it is. The many types of leader. The tyrannical overlord, the benevolent boss, the Machiavellian manipulator. Personally, I'm somewhere between a Machiavellian manipulator and tyrannical overlord and also benevolent boss. I guess I'm all of them. I'm every type. You know, when you take the Myers-Briggs test and you're like, you know what? I'm every Myers-Briggs. I'm Myers and Briggs. Hell yeah. People ask me, hey, are you an INTP or an ENTP or an INFJ or a IMSK or an MLK or like a, whatever. I'm like, I'm all of them. I feel like Myers-Briggs is kind of like astrology for men, you know? That's just the vibe I get of it. It's kind of weird. And like, yeah, sure, it's more based in like actual science. But at the same time, I think people essentially seem to take it, and then they base their entire personality off of the quiz result they got. And hey, there's nothing wrong with a fun quiz. But I think you just gotta be careful about letting it define the entirety of your being as a human person. But that's just a theory. A game theory. And you might be asking me, Mist, are you going to quote MatPat every single time you do a real zinger? And the answer is yes, I will. That is precisely what we are going to do. Indubitably. At the end of the day, though, I don't think, I don't believe that human beings are static. I think leadership skills and communication skills are a thing that can be learned, the same as any other skill. Like, no one is born with good communication. No one is born good at guitar. No one's born good at drawing. All these things are aspects that have to be cultivated over time. That is the way it goes. In a role, I consider myself the gatekeeper. Ooh, wanting people to participate in the work, managing the flow of conversation. Yeah, kind of like the organizer. Makes sense, yeah. I feel that. I've been in, situations where I've had to be the organizer, getting people doing stuff and, chasing people down when they're busy and they see the message and then they forget to reply to the message. And I'm like, hey, did you see the message? And they're like, yeah, I saw the message. Sorry, I was thinking of a reply and then I forgot to respond to you. So I've been there, my friend. I have been there. And now the problem is I'm now the person who's super busy doing a million things, and I see people's messages and I forget to reply to them. I've become the thing I fought against my whole life. What's that old saying? You die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain? My goodness. It's me. I am the Machiavellian overlord. I am the no message responder. It's terribly droll, honestly. There's a third person here. My apologies. I've become British. It's a terrible affliction. I would wish it upon no one whatsoever. And they've left. That's all right. How long do I want to go for? I just need to go until I've reached a good stopping point, and then I will work on the voiceover audition, and then I'll probably go to bed so I can wake up at 6 a.m. for work. Haha. I love waking up at 6 a.m. for work. That said, I have a co-worker in Canada who I have recently learned wakes up at 2 a.m. every single day. 2 a.m. And I have to say, learning that trooper gets up at 2 in the morning every single day to make things happen and is like still really happy and enthusiastic and energetic makes me rethink a lot of my own abilities. I think I need to fortify, I need to lock in, become stronger. Like Goku. I need to get stronger. That's right. I need to become more powerful. But you know, we all have our own strengths and weaknesses, and we shouldn't aspire to be other people. We should simply aspire to be ourselves. That is the best way to live one's life. As they said in Shakespeare, this above all to thy own self be true. And as they said in the Bible or something, know thyself. So as long as you be true to yourself and know thyself, you'll be fine. You'll get by in life. And as they say in Monty Python, always look on the bright side of life. Do-do, 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 do-do. Always look on the light side of life. All right. I think we're cooking with gas. I think we're getting somewhere. I think this drawing has proceeded to a place in which things have been accomplished, and the stream is about the length of an episode of The Boys. So I can probably call it pretty soon. Thank you to the grand total of 4 people who attended this particular live stream. I know I'm not terribly consistent with hosting these, but hopefully in the future, there will be many, many more to come. That is what we're going to be going for. I shall be cooking in the kitchen indeed. All right, my friends, have a wonderful night, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.